In today's video, I'm going to have Melinda jump in and show you how to insert and sew in an invisible zipper into your doll clothes garment. This is the go-to zipper that I've used in the Liberty Jane dresses and that Melinda's used in her Melody Valerie couture pieces. Once you've used this type of zipper a few times, I think that it'll probably become your favorite type of zipper too. So just follow along as she illustrates how to sew that zipper in. And you'll see this illustrated as well in a variety of the patterns that we have. We have step-by-step pictures and instruction that talk about sewing in this type of zipper, but an added video demonstration I think will really help cement in the techniques and help you feel confident as you move forward with this type of zipper.
When I'm sewing doll couture, I often choose to insert an invisible zipper. They are fairly easy to apply and they're strong enough for doll clothing, plus they're also pretty easy to get the doll in and out of the clothing using the invisible zipper. I usually sew invisible zippers in by machine for strength, but I will sometimes sew that last inch or half of an inch at the base of the zipper before the center back seam begins, so that I can be sure that I have a perfect transition from the center back seam to the bottom of the zipper stitching. Next, I'm going to show you how to set in an invisible zipper. This is actually pretty simple and easy to do. So if we look at the zipper, you can see the coils here are on the back rather than on the front as in a traditional zipper. And when we open it up, you can actually see that we can unfold the coils, sort of wrap them from the back to the front, and that will let you stitch right next to the coils, and that's actually what's going to make the zipper appear invisible on the finished garment. So step one is just to unzip the zipper and then press these coils as flat as you can, just making sure not to melt the zipper. Next, go ahead and grab your garment. You will not usually have the center back seam sewn at all. In this case, I've sewn just the lower bit of it, but the final step is actually to sew up that last little bit. And it'll become clear why this is important as we go on. So pick one side of the garment and lay it flat, and then grab your zipper, find the correct side of the tape, and then flip it over onto the garment so that the coils are facing towards the front of the garment and the tape is pointing towards the seam allowance. Now remember that your stitch line is going to be right next to these coils. So as you pin the zipper down, be sure that your stitch line on the zipper tape matches up to the stitch line on the garment. Stop pinning the zipper a couple inches below the base of the garment. Once your zipper is pinned, go ahead and stitch it into place. You can use a normal zipper foot for this, or if you use an invisible zipper foot, then just make sure that the coils are in the correct groove of the foot. Trim off any threads and then slide the zipper closed. Use pins to mark any important match points. Here I'm going to mark the top and bottom of the waistband and the bottom of the yoke, as well as where you stop stitching. Carefully unzip the zipper. Then line the other half of the tape up with the other half of the garment. Now this is where you want to be sure that you don't get the zipper tape twisted. You want to make sure that it's still going to close correctly. Yeah, so that's the right way. Okay, so now I'm going to just take these match points that I marked with pins and line them up with the relevant spots of the dress. Once you have the other side of the zipper tape pinned down, machine baste it into position. Slide the zipper shut and just double check the match points. And this looks pretty good. So that means I'm now set to unzip and actually sew this side down permanently. Now pretty often there is a lot of bulk right here where the waistband is, or the waistline, the zipper join. So this is a good time to go in there and just use your scissors and clip out any extra seam allowance you can. Slide the zipper closed and then flip the tail to the inside of the garment. When you look at the inside now, you should see there's a little tiny spot where you stop stitching, but there's a space above the bottom of the garment. And this is now the section that we have to finish sewing. You can do this by hand, or if you're confident with your zipper foot, just do it on the machine. Give your zipper a gentle press and then flip it to the inside, and at this point you can sew a bar tack across the bottom of the zipper tape that's left and clip off anything that's too long. You can also trim off these upper ends of the zipper tape as well. I just like to usually finish them with some seam sealant, or a really nice touch is to put a piece of ribbon actually over the edge of your zipper tape. Now at this point, all you have left to do is just to finish these seam allowances in some way or other. Often I'll be working with a lining, and so the lining will get whipped down over this bodice portion. In this case, I'm gonna just use a pretty little trim to cover this edge, and I think that'll be a really lovely effect. And here is your completed invisible zipper.